part 2. Let's get into the Zapdos part because I could care less about the rest. So let's get back onto an upgrade on Christian's team. His team is Quilava, Tyrantrum, Gabite, because he got a Gabite. Oh yeah, Corvisquire, Larvitar, or not Larvitar, but actually no, not any of the line. Yeah, Scizor, and that's all. So let's get into the Zapdos episode. They'd be basically just blitzing all around the arena, going bing, 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 bing. Until they finally get to Zapdos. They'd introduce in a 5-man re-battle. Christian would use Tyrantrum, Ash would of course use Pikachu, and Go would use Raboot, and of course Team Rocket as well. Christian would say, Tyrantrum, use Head Smash! And a Head Smash would hit Zapdos, actually hitting it. They'd all go for a giant attack. As he goes, come on, let's get him, guys! Ash says, yeah! But then Team Rocket attacks Pikachu, and let's go fight him. Christian says, I'm gonna go help Go, Ash! You can stay here and take care of them! He says, Rock! As Christian jumps on top of Tyrantrum's back, he says, Head Smash at the top! He goes, and smash. Oh god. Just feel like I died. So he says, jump it, as he smashes the roof open, and then Tyrantrum jumps up there, as Go is fighting it, and then he sees a glorious sight. Go using Raboot learning Blaze Kick. Almost. It's before that, it's on top of Raboot. Christian says, go, Quilava! And Quilava jumps on top. Oh yeah, and he has an Umbreon. Oh yeah, no, he has an Eevee. No, it evolved into Umbreon already. Instantly, he'd jump up in the air. Quilava would shoot out a flamethrower, hitting Zapdos but not barely doing anything, and Tyrantrum would run in with Quilava on its back, using a Head Smash, which would collide, creating a big explosion. Then Go would use his special attack between Raboot and Flygon. Then he'd go for a final Blaze Kick, defeating Zapdos and catching it almost, but then it escapes, of course. Now let's get into the Darkest Day arc. Christian would stop using Tyrantrum so much because it's how overpowered it is, and he's going to start focusing on Gabite and Quilava's training. He starts to train these two to their limits. Now it's time for the Darkest Day arc. Christian would be walking around a giant lush forest. Ash would be in the slumbering field along with Go. Go would encounter, of course, Zamazenta, and Ash would meet Zacian. Christian, on the other hand, would meet this weird black monkey, which would keep on jumping at him. Okay, doggo, you can jump, go! So he'd meet this monkey called Zarude. He goes, as he's battling it, he's barely doing anything. This Pokemon is beating down on poor Quilava. He says, return! As he puts it back in, saying, let's go, Tyrantrum! As he says, Tyrantrum's basically his ace for now, because Tyrantrum's the strongest, besides Scizor and Gabite, who are very strong as well. Tyrantrum Head Smashes it, almost defeating it, but is knocked out with one attack that Christian's never seen before. He returns it saying, let's go, Scizor! Instantly Scizor comes out and he says, Bullet Punch! As Scizor is one of his strongest as well, as he has an awesome battle with Scizor versus Zarude. But Zarude knocks it out with that weird move again. He returns it as Zarude rushes at him ready to punch him. But then something happens. Rookidee actually blocks it with its hook, with its foot, as it's pushing it away with full force. As Christian says, he says, Corvisquire, as Corvisquire's still blocking it, and then uses a gust. But it's starting to get harder and harder. The gust is getting bigger and bigger until it turns into a hurricane, knocking back Zarude. As he goes, whoa, Corvisquire. He goes, Grah! As then it starts to evolve into Corviknight. Then it turns into Corviknight. He goes, as instantly it turns into Corviknight, as he goes, whoa, a Corviknight! As he reads it, it says Corviknight, the armored bird Pokemon. I don't actually know what it's called, and it says, Corviknight with its metal armor is one of the most defensive Pokemon ever. Its durability is insane, and it also adds steel to its typing, making it much more bulky. He goes, all right, as then Zarude rushes at Corviknight, but then Corviknight hits it with some kind of attack. He says, that wasn't Wing Attack. He goes, that was Steel Wing. As then it launches a Hurricane, which knocks Zarude back. He goes, you Steel Wing, Corviknight! Instantly, Corviknight smacks it with a Steel Wing. Then he says, now use Brave Bird! Corviknight launches it, hits Zarude, knocking it out. He throws a Pokeball and catches it. But Zarude gets out of the Pokeball and doesn't want to be its trainer, as Christian says, fine, you can be free. As he leaves Zarude behind. As he smiles with his new Corviknight, he meets up with Ash and goes in the car with Sonia, and Ash is with Leon. Instantly a giant Dynamax raid comes out and Christian says, Corviknight, fly us up! Instantly flies up. He says, he gets over to Ash saying, Ash! Ash says, what is that Pokemon? Christian says, Corvisquire evolved into Corviknight. Ash says, awesome! As Christian pets it on the head saying, Corviknight's amazing. We battled this weird black Pokemon that looked like a monkey. Ash says, we battled this Pokemon that looked like a wolf. This blue weird Pokemon that was super strong. I couldn't even hit it. He says, was it avoiding your attacks or were you just going through it? Ash says, it was going through. Christian says, Corviknight's very strong, so I can stay on it for a while. What about Dragonite? He says, Dragonite's wings are pretty small, so it might not be able to keep that much. But Dragonite's resilient. It's still flying in the sky. As he said, Christian says, alright, Corviknight, let's head to the spot. Dad's in the driver's seat.
That ain't going nowhere.
He's
He went all the way around it. He probably was moving.
Alright, let's get back into this. So with this Christian, they'd make it over in blah blah blah. Then we'd have Dynamax Reboot, of course. Then we'd have Dynamax Quilava, who would annihilate tons of members. But then Christian would meet someone mysterious. He's wearing pink clothes and all and has a weird gold watch. He's got these granny hair. He says, excuse me, miss. The boy turns around and says, I am a boy. As he goes, oh, you're the one trying to stop Chairman Rose. Christian says, who the heck are you? Alright, this is in the midst of Ash and Go battle. As then, instantly, he says, I won't let you stop him. Go. Go, my beautiful Hatterene! I'm pretty sure that's the Pokemon that's the final evolution state. As he goes, go, Quilava! As he goes, such a measly weak Pokemon. It says, Hatterene, Psychic. Turns says, Flame Wheel! It does, but then when it's about to hit it, the Psychic lifts it up into the sky and slams Quilava everywhere. As he goes, Quilava! And it's getting bodied. As then it's knocked out. He goes, Quilava! As Bede takes away his Pokeball, so now Christian only has his Quilava left. As he puts it back in the Pokeball, takes it to Nurse to heal it up. It's finally healed, as then he heads right back outside, pulls out, he can only run now. But he remembers that he crafted something as like a child when he was in Lumio City. He presses a button and this drone comes out. This weird giant drone comes out. He jumps on top of it saying, go, Auto Drone! As he pulls out the controller and launches himself forward. As this is like a new machine that he made. They can let it fly. Eventually, he makes it to a part where there's tons of grunts of Team Macro, or Macro Star. He says, "Hey!" as they're attacking pedestrians, getting them out of the way. For no reason. As Ash is fighting Chairman Rose with Riolu, and then with Riolu, Go is fighting with Rabu against Oleana, and Christian defeats all the grunts with little to no difficulty with Quilava. As then Beat shows up saying, "Looking for your Pokeballs?" Christian says, "Give them back, they don't belong to you." He goes, "But they do." He says, "If you beat me, I'll give them to you." He says, "Go, Hatterene!" As Christian's nervous because Quilava got destroyed last time. As he says, "Flame Wheel, Quilava!" Quilava launches out with even greater speed. As Beat's kind of shocked as it's instantly hit with a Flame Wheel. He says, "Flame Charge!" as it turns around and blitzes with a Flame Charge, colliding and blitzing all around. As Quilava hits it over and over, but then it catches him with Psychic and slams him to the ground, then starts to slam him over and over again. As Quilava breaks out of it somehow, as Christian says, "Flamethrower!" I'm kidding. Instantly, he says, "Use Tackle!" because that's all he can do, because he's not thinking straight. He says, "Double Kick!" Two double kicks barely does anything as it's launched back. He says, "Moon Blast," as it hits Quilava. And it's really hurting. He goes, "Quilava!" as Quilava is being barraged. As he says, "What can I do? What can I do?" As he's about to return Quilava, Quilava will not give up. As Quilava starts using Flame Charge even faster. As then, it gets into a clash between Moon Blast, which turns into a Moon Beam, versus, actually it's a Psy Beam, versus, okay, I'm gonna say Hatterene can learn Psy Strike. It's a clash between Psy Strike and Flamethrower. As he goes, "Quilava, you don't have to do this!" As then Quilava's shooting the Flamethrower, not giving up, as then its Flamethrower is being pushed back. But then something flares. Its flames go bigger and bigger, as then it evolves into Typhlosion. It goes, "Brrrr," as it launches the flames, annihilating the Psy Strike. Then, once it beats it, then with anger and rage against this Hatterene, it roars. Look, I'm not using Typhlosion to cry because that's kind of annoying.
Victorious, so victorious, like a whip echo.
Typhlosion is so mad that it looks at Hatterene, and its eyes are with fury. The flame on its back is finally back. As Typhlosion looks at it, growling, as then it goes, it roars out. As that scares Hatterene and Beat and Christian. He goes, "Whoa!" Instantly it blitzes as then its hand envelops with lightning as it punches Hatterene as he goes, "Thunder Punch!" It launches a Flamethrower, colliding with Hatterene. And then it tackles it to the ground and is standing on top of it. Then he goes, "Uh-oh." As its flames are bursting even bigger, and its eyes turn red out of anger. And then when it opens its mouth to charge up a Flamethrower in the air, its mouth is all red. As he goes, and then it looks down at Hatterene, and then launches the Flamethrower, going, then he blew a hole in the earth. As Hatterene's down there, as he roars. As Christian is mad nervous. I'm kidding. Typhlosion, then Typhlosion random, then Beat says, "Return, Hatterene! Gigantamax!" As he Gigantamaxes, Christian says, "Dynamax!" As it turns humongous, as now they're having a clash in the city. As then Typhlosion roars out. It charges up the flames on its back. As Hatterene dug underground, Hatterene is still underground, as he can't see it. As then, where Hatterene is, he charges up flames in a max flare. Then he goes. Then launches it at the ground, crushing a hole into the ground way bigger than before. As he goes. Hatterene's confused as he goes, as then it hits the ground. Then Typhlosion roars down. Then, weirdly, Hatterene goes. Hatterene jumps up there, but then a max lightning drains it down. As then Typhlosion turns back to normal, as Christian takes back his Pokeballs, and then says, "Let's go, Corviknight!" As Corviknight comes out of the Pokeballs, he jumps on it, and then they fly away. As he accepts defeat and wants to get Hatterene back to the Pokemon Center because of how much damage it sustained. That was a little too much damage. Christian arrives just as he goes Raboot evolve into Cinderace. He runs into, as he sees Ash, as then they all make it to the roof. As Ash says, "Whoa, go, Christian, what are those?" Christian says, "This is Typhlosion, pretty cool. It evolved from Quilava." Go says, "And this is Cinderace, it evolved from Raboot." Then Christian and Go are shocked to see Ash's Lucario. Go says, "That's so cool." Christian says, "So you finally built enough friendship with it." Ash says, "Huh?" Christian says, "If you build enough friendship with a..." He says, "If you make enough friendship with a Riolu, it'll evolve into a Lucario. And it has to be daytime." And it technically is daytime. He goes, "Really?" Christian says, "Yup." As he goes, "Cool." As Christian says, "Let's get into this now. Let's take this thing down together." As he goes, "Right, Lucario, Aura Sphere," Ash says, and Pikachu, Thunderbolt. Go says, "Pyro Ball." Christian's looking at Typhlosion, looks like it learned a new move. Remember, Typhlosion's not normal. It has a black back instead of that weird blue one. Instantly, he realizes that Typhlosion has another move up its sleeve that's its ultimate move, but he's not going to use it. He says, "Flamethrower!" as they all launch their attacks, which collide with Eternatus but barely do anything. Then they all get blown back, as Christian says, "Typhlosion!" Then he says, "All right." As then he gets back up, as Ash and Go summon the things, Christian says, "I'll hold them off. Use those stupid sword shield things. I'll take it on." Ash says, "You'll get destroyed." He goes, "Does it look like I care?" As Eternatus is charging up an Eterna Beam, which launches it straight at Christian. He goes, "So you think you're the only one with a beam attack?" He goes, "Let's go, Typhlosion. Use blue flare." Typhlosion's back bursts with blue flames as his eyes turn blue as well. As he goes, "Brah!" and launches the two attacks clash. Ash says, "Blue flare?" As he goes, "Rah!" as its attacker clashing and colliding as Eternium is winning with that. He says, now increase it! The heat by 10,000! 10 million Scovilles! I'm kidding. Increase the heat by 150 degrees Celsius! As the flames turn purple, as they collide with the Eternium and break through it and hit it. As everyone sees a purple explosion in the sky, Zacian and Zamazenta are summoned, as then its flames on its back are now red again. He goes, flamethrower! As it launches the flamethrower, colliding with Eternatus, Lucario shoots out North Sphere, Pikachu uses Thunderbolt, and Cinderace uses Pyro Ball. As Zacian and Zamazenta use Behemoth Bash and Behemoth Blade, as they clash, hitting Eternatus. Christian says, I got this, guys! Let's go! Typhlosion, use a close-range blue flare! It jumps up in the air, but then Eternatus grabs it. Ash says, no! As they start to hear roaring from Typhlosion. As Ash is worried that Typhlosion just got killed, as Christian's still smiling. Ash says, how could you be smiling? Your Pokemon just died! Christian smiles, saying, who said it died? I'll be right back. Then they start to get worried. Christian starts to get worried because usually Typhlosion would have burst out, but then he starts to hear something. Then, all they hear now is... releasing itself with blue flames, exploding Eternatus, knocking it down. Then Ash and Go catch it. As Christian says, nice guys! And that's it for now.